do videos like this before the Sephora sale pretty often, where it's like we have a bunch of products that we need to get in under the buzzer as far as reviews so that I can like have all my thoughts together before we make the Sephora sale video, which is coming. I've been working hard behind the scenes testing some stuff so that I could get my ideas together, and we are like, there's a lot. There's a lot we're getting through in this video, so. Hello, it's me here to tell you that I tested the wrong Givenchy foundation. Do I have the new one? Yes. In my defense, those bottles look really similar, but I just grabbed the wrong one out of my drawer, and I was wearing it for a week or so every single day to really get my thoughts together on it, and by God, it's beautiful, but it is not new. It is the old Skincare and Glow, not the new Glow Serum. So enjoy me pretending that this is a brand new foundation throughout this entire video, but it's still beautiful. Unfortunately, I do not have a review of the new one for you yet, but I did just order the new pressed powder. So that will give me an opportunity to test the new version of the Givenchy foundation. I don't know why I've been sitting on this for so long. I've been trying it a ton in the background and I just haven't managed to, like, I don't think we've gotten on camera and talked about this yet. The Prism Libre Skincare and Glow Foundation from Givenchy. I don't have any new concealers, but I did buy the correct shade, my correct shade, which is vanilla, in the NARS Complete Concealer, whatever it is. I've been using it, it's nice. We'll use it today. I had an experience with another product that has led me to think that perhaps I need to give this one more shot with a brush, with a very specific kind of brush. This is the Westman Atelier liquid bronzer drops that she came out with, and I really would like to like them. They cost so much money, and I had such high hopes about them that it's like, if I can get these to work, that would be fantastic. The thing that made that decision for me, that I needed to try it again with a brush, was these right here. So I've been trying these extensively. These are the new blushes from Glow Recipe. There's Berry Flush and Watermelon Flush. So it's kind of a berry color and kind of a pink color. And I had a really hard time with these at first, even though they're really pretty. And then I tried them with a brush and I was like, oh. I also, and this is just something so out of character for me, but there was like a little bit of me shopping at Sephora being like, Khaki, buy the things that people will be interested in, not just the things that you're interested in. And so I bought the new Say Super Suede Radiant Blush Powder in the shade Ciao. I have nothing against this formula. I just think that the packaging is a little bit not prestige for me. It's just, I'm not getting the vibes, but I'm setting that aside for now. I'm telling you, like, every step today is a new product. I got the Haus Labs highlighter, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it. It's great. We're gonna use it. It's lovely. I also, in gifting, got this, and I was not expecting to be impressed by it. This is the LYS setting powder. There are some caveats, there are some thoughts. It has character to it. Like, it has an opinion, it has a point of view, and so it's worth demonstrating, but it's worth demonstrating. And then, I actually bought these on the Prada website before they hit Sephora, but they are on Sephora now. This is the new Prada eyeshadow palette. I have 3 of these now. And then I picked up one of their eyeliners just to see how it was, and also to get myself over the shipping threshold. And so I picked up the shade Wood. I want to say that that's it in terms of what we're actually, oh, nope, I'm still wrong. I'm still wrong, because we are also going to be talking about the Kosas Cloud Set finishing spray. So I believe that that is it. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, I have a little bit of moisturizer on. I have a lot of sunscreen on. I'm gonna use the Hyaluro lip here. I always forget to get something on my lips before I get on camera, and I'm just like, so in my corner of the internet, this flew under the radar. I don't know why, but it felt like something that someone had to tell me about, and then I had to like look closer to know whether it was even new, and found out that it is. And when I tried it, I was impressed by it, but like, I was impressed enough by it that I didn't really feel the need to wear test it, and then I got eclipsed by a bunch of other stuff. Who cares? We're gonna be applying this today, and it's lovely, okay? So again, this is the Prism Libre Skincare and Glow Foundation. I got it in N95, which is the same shade that I wear in their concealer, which is one of my most beloved concealers of all time. It's a little on the golden side for me, but it's good. It like makes my skin look really healthy. And I actually have footage from the end of the day when I wore this last week, like this entire face of makeup, exactly as I'm going to put it on today. I mean, I'll go ahead and spoil it. Like, it was beautiful. And it was kind of a concert of everything, you know, but that setting mist is impressive. I experienced some alchemization lately, let's say, okay? I have been, you know, personally victimized by the planets just like everybody else, but it all really came to a head over the weekend. It doesn't feel like it's been that long since I like uploaded for y'all because it took me so long to work through editing my last video that it hasn't been that long since I uploaded, but it's been a long time since I filmed because I have just been in the mental health hurt locker, but I feel like I'm finally like in a place where I can move forward. I'm in this like very good new open space where I can feel like I can like, you know, spread out and hear my own thoughts and stuff. And I don't know why things wait so darn long to like work themselves out, but it is what it is. It has been a really, really painful last like 5 months, and I finally feel like I'm on the tail end of it, which is wonderful. Like I'm feeling way, way better. All that to say, this whole face of makeup got an excellent cry test, and the Kosas setting mist held up famously. It was incredible. Like I went to like dab my eye with my finger and the concealer didn't come off. It wasn't just like that the eye makeup didn't come off, the concealer didn't come off. I was like, all right, Kosas. I've had really, really positive experiences with it so far. Okay, so this is one of those foundations. Yes, there's a fragrance. It smells like the Givenchy fragrance. Doesn't bother me at all. Doesn't linger. I don't know. There are some that I just like better than others. I really don't like the Givenchy lip fragrance, for example. I find it to be kind of prohibitive, but for whatever reason, the foundation doesn't bother me. But just bear that in mind. It does have a fragrance. So it's one of those foundations that like, it doesn't look like outstanding the second that you put it on, but like within a couple of minutes, it warms to your skin and it's beautiful. It actually has a feeling as you're putting it on that it's almost like locking, not uncomfortably fast, but faster than I'm used to. I'm used to a foundation spreading on my skin after I put it on. You know, it's like I can kind of move it around after the fact. If you wait more than a minute on this, you're not gonna spread it around, you're gonna build, which is, again, not a bad thing. It's just, I'm always trying to bring y'all as close to the product as possible without having to go and touch it yourself. And that is the experience. You see how it's building on itself, it's building coverage, so you can get a lot of different levels of coverage out of it, but it's not something that's going to be like a skin tint in the sense that you can like keep rubbing it into your skin, you know, it's gonna try and lock down. It has its own dry down. It feels great and it wears a long time. So you can see that is actually a really nice flattering shade on me. Like it's the right level. It's not too dark, but it is a little bit like warmer than my skin tone, just ever so slightly. And I feel like it does me a lot of favors. Very pretty. It's just very pretty. And it's gonna stay kind of dewy like that. It's not fully like that weird transfer proof thing that you get with the Patrick towel where it's like, it looks and feels like it's wet almost, but like it doesn't transfer. It's like those weird waterproof, transfer proof lip glosses. Like that's what Patrick Ta's thing is like, but this is lighter weight than that and it still has a really beautiful hydrated finish on it. I think it is actually very kind for dry skin, but it's not like wildly, wildly dewy. It has a lot of versatility to it and it tolerates powder really well. All right, let's slap on this NARS here real quick. Pretty easy to do. I'm gonna use this little hourglass brush to put this on. So something that I've been having a huge issue with in my personal life is that I've been having food aversion as a side effect of a drug that I was on, an antidepressant that I was on. I mean, this isn't medical advice. I can tell you what it is. Just, you know what I mean? Like we can all talk about this stuff, our own experiences. I was on Lexapro for a while and I experienced nausea with that and also just other notoriously undesirable side effects. If you know, you know. But when I went to the doctor, and also my doctor has been out, and so it's like I haven't seen the same person each time that I've gone for like the last 3 times or something, and she's finally back. So anyway, they put me on Buspirone and it worked great. It really did. Like it didn't seem to have any of the, I don't know, like really obvious side effects, but over time, it has made me so food averse in a way that it feels like I'm in my first trimester all the time. I look at food and I'm absolutely disgusted by it, and it is miserable. Especially for someone who has had eating problems my entire life already. For me to have now like that nightmare of all the foods that I love now appearing completely disgusting to me, it's like when you've had a stomach bug, you know? And then afterwards you're just like, can't eat the food that I had right before that ever again. But it's like everything feels like that. And you're just like force feeding yourself in order to just not, you're just hungry all the time and you can't eat. It is so demoralizing, and I was just like breaking down about it. I went to the doctor on Sunday morning. Like, that's how big of an emergency it was. I was like, hey, it's Sunday, can you get me in? And they were like, all right, let's get you off of this. And it's kind of crazy because we got divorced and it really destabilized me. That was at the like end of 2023, early 2024. And the antidepressants were super necessary, okay? Like, the side effects were worth it because like my quality of life was not good. I like wasn't uploading at all. Like, the depression had completely taken over. I was not in touch with reality. And so I had been accepting kind of a lower quality of life, I guess, for a long time now, because I'm just like, well, you know, I don't want to go back to where that was. And like, even if this sucks, it's still worth it because it's not that bad kind of thing. And I'm just like, nope. I have finally, where's the lid? I've finally hit the point where I'm like, listen, even if all the intrusive thoughts come back, we will deal with that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I have to be able to eat, because if I can't eat, then I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning hungry, and then I can't sleep. And now we're down to like, am I surviving? You know? And it was really gaining on me. And it really, it's just like, again, it's like having a newborn, you know what I mean? Like, sleep deprivation is enough to drive you actually insane. Like, it's why they use it as psychological torture. It has felt like psychological torture. And it's been so hard. And yeah, slowly tapering off of these drugs. I got a generous for me. I have like really low tolerance, but I got what I would consider to be like a generous, luxurious amount of Xanax prescribed to me to like get me through this, because the Xanax calms the nausea, and also there's going to be side effects to getting off of the drugs. I understand that it's not going to be ideal, but like, I feel like I'm on the road to recovery, and it also just feels like a fresh start. Nothing's perfect, but it needs to be different than it was, you know? All right. At the risk of everything becoming terrible really quickly and me having to wash all of this off, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this with a brush. I'm not gonna put a ton on because I still want you to be able to see the blushes as we use them, but I wanna try this bronzer, okay? I wanna try it. Just a little bit, a little drippy drop moment, just a little. And I'm putting it on the BK112, which is one of the best like cream liquid product brushes because it's fluffy. It's not something that you would necessarily consider as like a liquid product brush, but it does such a good job of applying something like this without then picking the makeup back up, because that's what the sponge was doing. It was picking it back up immediately. So I think that it like dried into the sponge and just like basically stamped and like picked the makeup back up. But I want to believe, because it's, God, what a pretty color. It would appear, that's way too much, but it would appear that that is a good tactic, because when I was using Glow Recipe blushes, like I said, it did the exact same thing, and I was like, maybe this is a me issue. Maybe this is a me relying on sponges too much issue, and like not ever really considering that there might be a better tool. Let's swatch these blushes here. I'm gonna swatch both of the Glow Recipe ones and the Say one. We're gonna try and wear all of them. Now, the Glow Recipe blushes smell like Glow Recipe products. They smell like watermelon. It's wild. Or just fruit in general. I'm not really sure. It's a little kind of a rainbow of things. I mean, in terms of like tone and temperature and opacity and all that. This is the berry one, and this is the watermelon one from Glow Recipe, and that is Chow from Say, which you can see I wanted it because it just looks kind of like a halfway between like a terracotta blush and a bronzer. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply one of each of the liquid blushes, one to each cheek, and then we'll end up going and layering it to even it out. I'm gonna start with the Say on my forehead, not because I think that it's going to produce the most incredible makeup look in the world. I just want y'all to be able to see them individually. Starting with our friend here. This is Berry. Same brush, that little 112, great brush. But yeah, the beauty of a brush, a synthetic brush specifically, is that it is not going to have a big flat surface that when the product dries, as you touch it to your face, it peels it off again in like a stamp shape, you know? These are gorgeous. They wear all day. The color stays all day. They're really pretty. I'm excited for them to come out with more shades because I think that this is a really interesting formula. It's different. It reminds me maybe the closest to those new strobe blushes that we tried from MAC, but still, there's something else to them. They're more serum-y. They're meant to be more like juicy looking than that, and they really accomplish it. Isn't that pretty? All right, again, at the risk of looking a little weird, I'm going to go in with the pink one on the other side. I always throw stuff on the back of my hand. I don't trust myself to put something straight onto my skin most of the time. Oh my gosh, is that pretty? The colors that they chose. I mean, if you're gonna put 2 colors out, those are 2 pretty good colors. Good choices. So easy, so pretty, so natural looking, like a natural sunburn kind of appearance. My freckles show through. A slightly better than skin finish because it has that like dewiness, but it is not dewy. It is not like wet to the touch at all. It dries down. You know, Glow Recipe has only ever put out versions of their primer drops just with a little bit of pigment here and there. They might have like a lip product, but like this, I think it counts as their first real color cosmetic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a pretty auspicious start. All right, Say Beauty. We're gonna be a little careful here because I don't have any, ooh, actually, you know what I am gonna do? I'm gonna powder now because I have tried this in the past. This works way better on skin that has been powdered, okay? This is a pretty pigmented blush. I'm not saying you can't wear it on skin that hasn't been previously powdered, but like it's gonna make your life a lot easier if you do. It will grab pretty hard and you'll end up with like more on than you meant to because you'll have to put more on to fill in the gaps essentially. I mean, you've seen what blush looks like when it skips. So we're gonna go with LYS. This is a little surprising. First of all, I just wanna say like, this packaging is not ideal. It's very cute that they made it in a triangle, but like the difference between the shape inside being a circle and the shape on the outside being a triangle, it causes some issues. It tends to just be messy every time I open it up. Okay, done complaining. This, I will say, as the translucent shade, as the fairest shade, is too dark for some people. This is not a truly translucent powder. It is the right color for me to have a like flattering, like just this side of like me being a little tan, which is wonderful actually. And the finish is not something that I would have thought that I would like. Because when you encounter these kinds of powders sometimes that are so finely milled, a lot of times they're made for people who need more oil control. And so they'll immediately just like tighten on dry skin and you're just like, oh no, like that's gonna look terrible immediately. But like, look at between the color and the texture, how it like lifted my under eye versus that one. And the texture on it is so blurred, like micro blurred without doing the like HD powder, weird white gather, you know, shrink up on your face kind of thing. But also it isn't like the Kosas. The Kosas has a lot more presence on the skin because it has skin tone shades to it. I rely on it to have a little bit of coverage and that's what I use it for. I can use it as a brightening powder. This is very much a setting powder, but it is not specifically only for people who need oil control. Like I can use it underneath my eyes and it wears all day really, really beautifully and seamlessly without drying my under eyes out, which is really nice. But I kind of lucked out in the sense that like, you know, I'm a fair neutral, but I'm not the fairest of them all, okay? And this would be too tan for a lot of fair skin tones. But you can see, I mean, it just like, look at the way that it changed the texture on my makeup. Like that is really, really good. It's just like very, very easy to use, very effective without gumming anything up, over drying. I'm very, very impressed with it. Truly, like the way that this has combined with all of the other things that I've tried it with lately, it has not done anything but help. It's just blur, blur, blur. LYS it does get its flowers occasionally, but like, I feel like it's still an underrated brand. Look at the freaking blur, and I am not a powder girly, you know what I mean? I did take pains this time to powder my forehead though, like almost all of it, because I do want to show you the Say. And it's only going to really go on in a way that doesn't totally drive me nuts if there's a powder finish. So yeah, the main hang up I have here is like, you know, I only shop with the prestige and like luxury usually because I feel like that's where you can rely on them to prioritize the beauty of their packaging, the experience of using it more so than, you know, the drugstore and things like that. We are often paying for the experience as much as we are the formula inside. And I feel like Say kind of took us for a ride on this one. Like this just, it's a little bit like MAC eyeshadow kind of thing. So maybe it's like they're going for makeup artist ish, but still, it just feels cheap. I don't remember how much it was. I did pay for it. It probably wasn't that expensive, but like it's still giving a little cheaper than I would have hoped. All right, so going in with the BK104 here. It should go on nice and even, yeah, because I have the powder underneath. Very pretty color. Again, it's like that kind of halfway in between like a terracotta blush and a little bit of a bronzer on me. I haven't done any contour, so we're, you know, left with that line, but we'll get there. But yeah, one cheek is one color, one cheek is the other color, my forehead's a whole other color. Kind of goes together. Real quick, I'm gonna even that out. I'm gonna like put the other one on the other cheek and, you know, just give me a minute. I know I look like I went blush blind, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that once we get the eyes on and everything, I'll be able to adjust accordingly. So, actually, real quick, I want to talk about this. So, this is the Haus Labs Glassy Opal highlighter, and I actually need to crunch the numbers because I'm not going to say that this is a more affordable version of the Baume Essentiel from Chanel, because the Baume Essentiel from Chanel is such an enormous amount of product that it could very easily pound for pound be actually more cost effective than this. But that is what Glassy Opal looks like. It's just like a really, really easy highlighter to apply, either fingers or with a brush or with a sponge. I'm not gonna go totally nuts with it because I don't really want it to like mix and make like a weird like clay polymer with my powder underneath my eyes, but like, look at that. It really makes everything look alive. I was extremely careful to buy the least pigmented one because I feel like I got done so dirty by that Isabella one this last time, where I was like, it's definitely going to be just like a peachy clear, and it was like, gave me a little like slimy peach mustache. None of that. None of that. All right. So there's that. I mean, it's like a wet look, and it is wet, you know, but it's not that weird space age slippy texture that you get from like the Westman Atelier lit up stick or anything like that. I would compare it most closely to the Baume Essentiel, but it is a little tiny bit slippier than that. And so it might move around a little bit more easily. I think that that's the advantage of the Baume Essentiel, is actually that it does have a little bit more viscosity to, I mean, not viscosity, but like it's a harder stick, okay? That's what she said. Because of that, it means that it kind of bonds with your makeup a little bit more instead of staying on top of the skin and making things slide around. It still will make things slide around, but I feel like it does behave more like a balm. And this is a little bit like lighter weight and slippier than that, but I mean, good grief. Absolutely gorgeous. So, so pretty. And that's just how I like to wear highlight. That's the kind of highlight I prefer. I know people are probably like, is the highlight in the room with us right now? Like, that's what I prefer. Okay, let's talk about this Prada palette. Again, this is the third of this format that I have purchased. It doesn't feel like that dissimilar from the other ones that I have, except that I feel like all of these shades are useful, whereas the first round of them that they did, they were like, these are useful, these are useful. Now you get a blue. And it was like, okay, we get what you're trying to do, Prada. Like, you're trying to be groundbreaking, innovative, stylish, editorial, whatever. But like, if I'm getting a quad, I want it to be useful. So those are useful colors. I will say, I don't really use that pink that much, but when you take that pink out of the equation, I mean, and I will use it a little bit, these look like they're going to be pinker on the skin than they are. You actually end up with something that's a really nice, like, neutral brown. And there are, like I said, 3 of them. Like, either your choice, which colorway you prefer, or if you are trying to achieve something that is most close to like your skin tone chroma. So that's pretty cool. I think that Prada has always done a really good job of that. I always thought that it was really cute that they made skin tone makeup sponges, you know, like they were in different skin. It wasn't like a million of them, but I think there were like 3 or 4. Cool thing to do. Cool thing to do, because it's like then your makeup disappears into your sponge because it's close to your skin tone. I thought that was a cool thing to do. The bottom 3 shades are very much that beautiful Prada formula. I'm not sure if they're all the same, but they're mostly like a beautiful satin matte without shimmer to it. And then this right here, it seems almost like it would be like a gimmick, you know, like, ooh, look at us, we can do a multi-chrome and a luxury quad. It's like, no, it's really freaking pretty. Okay, let's just get it on my eyes. I am actually way more impressed with this than I expected to be, especially for the price, because it's like $80. But as I've worn it, every time I wear it, I'm like, I feel like it's missing something, or it's not how I typically wear my eye makeup, and I end up just loving it every single time. All right, I'm gonna start with this big old fluffy guy. This is not going to be a particularly precise situation. I'm gonna start with that middle one. Boop, boop. Yeah, this is 08. I think, you know, they don't put the names of them. It's actually pretty hard to shop their website. So I'm glad that it's on Sephora. It's way easier. So like not pink, right? But also not so pink that it's clashing with my undertones. And the other colors do kind of balance it out without taking it further towards pink. But you do also have that like very blushy tone in there as an option. But God, that formula is easy to work with. It's so easy. Who's watching White Lotus? Who's watching White Lotus? My God. This is my favorite season. This is my favorite season yet. By far. I'm going to go in now with this brown. I'm going to go on my outer corner and maybe even on my lid. Whatever, we'll figure it out. I feel like the first two seasons, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I feel like the first two seasons made certain characters like the icon. You know, Jennifer Coolidge is such an icon, and she stole the show. She stole every scene, like, and the character that they wrote for her was so incredible. But I feel like this season makes everyone an icon, okay? Like, I have never been more emotionally invested. They're interesting enough characters that you just want to watch them do what they're gonna do. It is an immaculately executed season so far. There are 2 episodes left, and I mean, I feel fear, I feel anticipation, I feel awkwardness and shame, but not the weird kind of like hard to interpret awkwardness of season 2. Like I said in my last video, stuff goes over my head, okay? I need to get on the internet and be like, what did that mean? Because I don't know. And season 2 was full of that stuff where I was just like, what was that supposed to mean? There was just like all these looks exchanged, you know? And I was just like, I think everybody else got what that meant, but I did not. You know, I left with a lot of questions. This one I feel like is just so much more dialogue driven. It is really, really well done. I think that Mike White is just stoked on what he's doing, okay? At the end of last season, they were, you know, of course we were sad that it was over, and so they were like showing the interview after the fact about Mike White talking about, you know, making this season and filming it, blah, blah, blah. And then they asked him, they're like, you know, are there more seasons coming? And he's like, yeah, the next one is going to be at a wellness resort in Thailand. And I was like, oh my God, sign me up. But at the same time, like, he was gleeful in delivering that information. The man loves his job. He loves making this show, and you can tell. You can tell. There's just something about it where it's like, I feel like he has a zillion ideas. So there's like the whole, people are like, don't kill off my favorite character or whatever, because obviously with White Lotus, always someone dies and no one knows yet who it is. At this point, it's like, if Mike White is going to do it, I trust him to handle it, you know? Yeah, I mean, I just watched the most recent episode and like, it's been a lot of that. Like, I just love, I love that like the internet is juxtaposing these screenshots of Rick and his girlfriend Chelsea, both in very separate situations, and they're not even in the same city, right? Reacting to what's happening around them, and they're both just like, for very different reasons. Like, both of them are just being shown some of the most out-of-pocket things they've ever seen in their lives, and it's so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch. Like, this is the first season that I feel like I would rewatch, like, happily. As soon as it's over, I'll rewatch it. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the shimmery shiny one here, same brush from Refer, and we're gonna just put that there. I might put on some with my finger as well, but I want y'all to see what it looks like when you just do it with a brush, because I feel like a lot of times we're talking about like the luxury quad aesthetic. They want something soft, you know what I mean? That's what they want you to do with it, is make something that's really like tasteful and like elegant by their standards or whatever. It's like, oh, it just, you know, your eyes don't enter the room before you. This is just supposed to be a soft wash. Fine, soft wash. Have your soft wash. I am still going to build this up and see what it does, because it's pretty. Okay. I love the way that the light hits it, and the shifts on it obey the color story in the quad, which is a letter to my heart. It's been very few videos on my channel where people have had to, or I guess gotten to, watch me try and navigate a multi-chrome, like a true multi-chrome, like a Cleona multi-chrome, and watched my color theory brain turn into scrambled eggs. I'm just like, but how do I, if that's the, no, but then when I turn my head, I don't like this. You know what I mean? Like, I can't handle it. This shifts one way that acts as kind of a beautiful like goldy green glint, and then the other shift goes with the other colors in here. And so it just, oh, look at it. Like it's just, it adds like dimension, like true dimension to the eyes in a way that's like, you wouldn't have known that that was what you needed to ask for, right? You thought you'd just kind of want something that just shimmered like that, but the shift on it makes it kind of like appear differently as you turn your head, turn your eyes, but without it being, again, and I have nothing against Cleona, it just scrambles my brain, without it being that eyeshadow that is your entire makeup look, because that stuff confuses me. I don't know how to construct color theory around it. So my little friend here, this is the 13 brush from Rephr, and it is just so good for getting, you know, all in the details. So I'm gonna go with that brown on here a little. Also, I mean, God, how have I talked about White Lotus for this long and not talked about Parker Posey? Good God, what an icon. I know. I said that they make everybody in this season an icon, but like, she is experiencing very much the career renaissance of just people recognizing what a specifically incredible actress she is, the same way that Jennifer Coolidge did. And I absolutely love to see it. She's gotten some of the best lines in the whole series, and she's just so fun to do impressions of. But Piper, you're not from China. Like, she doesn't know whether she's in Taiwan or China or Thailand. It is hilarious. I have too much blush on. We will get there, but I am not sure exactly how much of it I'm going to want to mitigate until I get like my eyeliner and my mascara on and stuff. We are going to use the Prada eyeliner. I'm not gonna sit here and explain it to you while it's happening. It's just an eyeliner. I will still time lapse it, but it's gorgeous. It's a lighter brown than I've been working with. It's a little lighter and a little bit warmer, but it's not, for example, as light as the new Lisa Eldridge one is what I'm looking for. Lisa Eldridge Seamless in Burnt Umber. So, I know it's hard to tell, but Burnt Umber is lighter and redder, okay? And it makes a big difference because that is too light for the illusion of thicker eyelashes on me, and somehow Wood from Prada is just right. And by God, she is down and she doesn't want to come back. So we're gonna do this, we're gonna do mascara, I'm gonna do my brows, we'll come back and we will, what are we doing? We'll figure it out when we get there, won't we? Cheers. A little bit more of the LYS powder to blend everything back in. Again, I was trying to demonstrate so many blushes for you. That I put a lot of blushes on, didn't I? Unfortunately, I do feel like that's gonna make me lose a little bit of that Haus Labs highlighter. Not too bad though. And I'm going to cheat just a little bit because this isn't at Sephora, but I mean, neither is my mascara. Thrive re-released their, I mean, it is a new brow product. They had a different brow product before, but this is their like brow lamination gel. And it has a really similar kind of like molded wand like it has for the tubing mascara. And I think it's made all the difference in the world. And it's just a really lovely, this is clear brow gel, you know? It's gonna like define my eyebrows in a way that makes them look really lovely. It kind of reminds me of the Refi one. I wonder, are we gonna put anything on my lips? We have these new ones from Queen Musia, and y'all, you know what? It might end up looking like a little bit too much because it's just gonna be color on my lips where I feel like, I don't really know if I want color on my lips with this look. Still, it's so effing pretty that I still wanted to show it to you because I feel like so many of us have been on the hunt for a truly balm-ish tinted lip balm. Like a tinted lip balm that is first and foremost a lip balm, not first and foremost a tint, and they did it. These are the two shades that I've been wearing the most. I have Nostalgique and 1993. They have 3 shades that are more richly pigmented, a little bit deeper for deeper skin tones or deeper lip tones. And then they have 3 that are really, really sheer and fair. And so that is Nostalgique. I mean, come on, it's truly just a very lightly tinted lip balm. My dream. Plus it also smells like vanilla, like go off. And then 1993, 1993 is a beautiful kind of cool brown, but again, barely there. Less pigment even than the MAC lipsticks. And look at these freaking components. Are you kidding me? They're Widow Ice Creams or something, whatever. They're very easy to find in your collection. I think we're gonna go in with 1993 and just see what happens. If it's too brown, we'll back it up, you know? But it is my favorite one right now. It's actually the same color as my nails. Ooh, in fact, it would probably go really well with my khaki lip liner, but I think that that's gonna be too much lip for everything else that we have going on here. Dead serious, y'all. Like, it's barely there in the best way possible. It's so pretty. Never ever can I wear, sorry, I have like a hair. Never ever can I wear a tinted lip balm or a tinted lip product in general with no makeup on. And I can wear this with no makeup on and it doesn't make me look wild. You know, it doesn't make me look like, what is wrong with her face? And the last step is the Kosas spray here. They say to shake it a lot. So I'm gonna shake it a lot. It has a smell. It's not prohibitive and I can't put my finger on it, but it has a smell. It makes me want to like find a little tiny vial of some kind of fragrance and just drip, drip, drip it in there. You know what I mean? Just to do something because it's distinct. Have y'all tried this? I would love to, I mean, it's not gonna keep me from using it. It's not disgusting. You know what I mean? It doesn't like smell like so off-putting. I'm like, oh my God, it's just like, what is that? What is that? You know, like, I don't know what that smell is. I kind of wish that they had done a little bit more of a fragrance. But they're like, a little goes a long way. I'm like, yeah, you know what else goes a long way? A lot. Because it makes it really nice and dewy and it truly makes your makeup like, at least it made my makeup like cry-proof, waterproof. It was awesome. Yeah, and you know what? We're keeping the blush. It's fine. It's a lot, but it's fine. You get to see what it does, and that's the point. So let's talk final thoughts on all of these things. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a parade of excellence, but there are caveats as to like who I think they're for and how I think they're best used, like for best results. The Prism Libre Skincare and Glow Foundation is super pretty. It's hard to describe it other than all the other stuff I said earlier, just because it's kind of like forgettable in the best way possible. Like you put it on, you're like, that's beautiful. And then you never think about it again, you know? It just wears all day, it looks fantastic, it's pretty hydrating without being like dewy and sticky. It's just a really good formula. It's just really good. I don't really know what to compare it to. It's kind of like the Kogan Dough. I would say that it's probably the most similar to the Kogan Dough Aqua Foundation. It's quite thin as you're putting it on. It is also very long wearing, but it's still more present on the skin than something like Lisa Eldridge. So it's not, I don't consider those two things comparable. It's still a foundation. It still behaves like a foundation. Okay. I believe that we've had a bit of a redemption arc here, but I do wish that these kinds of things were a little bit more like user-friendly. For the regular person, you might not have a whole bunch of brushes and sponges and options in your routine. It's like, if you buy this, you might have bad outcomes if you are using a sponge because it dries into the sponge and then it picks your makeup back up. But on a brush like the BK112, wow, 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 I'm actually going to get use out of this and I'm really excited about it. So that's lovely. And I have these to thank for that because I would not have known until these did the exact same thing that the issue was the sponge itself. So redemption arc across the board, but these are really pretty. These might not be the colors for you. You know, they're only 2. Can't cater to everybody with 2 shades, but not only is this, I mean, kind of a lot of product. You get 4 ounces of blush. They're $25. Like that's affordable, right? They're lovely. They're really, really nice and a little goes a long way and they have a beautiful serum finish and I like them a lot.
I think they're very, very pretty. Healthy, healthy, springy summer skin, you know? The Say blush, I think that there are a lot of brands. I mean, I don't think a lot of brands, I know, I'm watching a lot of brands come out with powder blush formulas as part of their kind of core line. They're not trying to say this is innovative, this is brand new, you need to try our blush above and beyond everybody else's. It's just like we didn't have one in our line and now we do. This is our take on a powder blush. So it's like there's not that much to say about this. It's more just like, is it horrible? No, it's not horrible. It's a good blush. I actually like it better in formula than the Tower 28 one, and well, I can't really compare it to the Rare Beauty one because that's a cream. I do like it better than the Tower 28 though because it's baked and it doesn't have that like dustiness to it. It goes on the skin in a more blurred, like flattering way. I feel like the color on the skin the same way, you know, Milani Luminoso does, like it bonds with the skin better in a way that doesn't look like it's just floating there. And I think that this does a really good job at that. But at the same time, it's like, I think that Milani probably has this color in their blushes and it's probably half the price of this. I think that they could have done a little bit more to make this feel a little bit more luxurious or at least a little bit more prestige. There's just something about this packaging that feels super phoned in. This highlighter from Haus Labs. Does everyone need to run out and buy this? No. Is it one of the most well executed versions of a product like this that I have seen? Yes, because so many of them push your makeup around or just completely take it off. Or over the course of the day, they'll like break up everything underneath your eyes and stuff. I'm not gonna say this won't break your makeup up a little bit if you try and use it like the Baume Essentiel. It is still not the Chanel Baume Essentiel. That stuff's incredible. But it is a really, really, really beautiful highlighter for what it is that, like I said, like I'm trying to get out of a highlighter, which is, I would say like 75% texture and 25%, ooh, that's a little something something, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of shades in it and it's just, it's an easy product to use. It's an approachable product to use. And even when like this kind of spot on my face, like that tends to be a place where there's just like a lot of everything that you put on your face, everything ends up in that one spot by layering and everything like that. This will smooth stuff out and make it look better at the end. It'll kind of melt everything together and make that part of your face look less like crinkly and cakey, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm glad that I have it, but like I'm not gonna go out there and like, you know, lay my reputation on the line and be like, yes, everybody needs this and it's going to give you like the most immaculate results. I still think that the Baume Essentiel is a superior product. I think when we're talking about anything at the price point of Prada, you have to talk about like suspension of disbelief. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you these formulas in and of themselves are worth $20 a pan. I'm not gonna tell you that, no. But it is, if we're talking about like the luxury space and sort of what we start to expect from it and things like that, it is on par with, and maybe even slightly, the formula I think is a little bit better than the YSL because it doesn't kick up as much. It has the same creaminess and the same ease of being able to work with it, but it doesn't kind of like fluff up and kick up as much, which I do like. I do though think that they need to take some notes from YSL on their color stories. This is a good color story. It is. I like it a lot, but like YSL has been running circles around this kind of color story for a couple of years now with their Couture mini clutches, and they're so good. They're so good, and there's really so many options in terms of quads that are not just practical but also exciting. They make eye looks, they make exciting eye looks, they make several eye looks, they make long wearing formulas. It's on par with that for sure, and it's like, does the packaging matter too? I still think that I would pick a YSL quad over this, but given the option, I would rather have both because there's not anything in YSL's line that does what that color does in concert with everything else. But also, I'm probably never going to use this pink because it's just like a little too pink. So, you know, all things considered, I give it like an 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10. But like, you know, the 300 palette from YSL, you'll pry it from my cold dead hands. So that's my take on that. I also think that the eyeliner, which I did misplace the lid to already. It's just sitting here bald, drying out, giving me anxiety. Really, really beautiful. Glad that I have it. Do you need to pay this kind of money for an eyeliner? Absolutely not. The formula, which I did not mention because I did it in the time lapse, it is less slippy than like those gel eyeliner formulas that you get from like Victoria Beckham or Laura Mercier or even Persona, but it's not as stiff as something like, you know, the Thrive eyeliner or a lot of retractable eyeliners. It still has a really nice slippiness to it and a lot of wear, and it's an interesting color. I mean, if you care about nuances in brown, it's not black brown, it's truly brown, but it's also not warm brown, it's truly brown. And there's something to be said for that, but like, I don't think it's a run, do not walk situation. It's more about whether like luxury beauty appeals to you in the first place. And then you can decide like, if it does, yeah, that's a great eyeliner. But like, if it doesn't, this is not going to be the product that's going to convince you to become a luxury beauty person. This I forgot to mention kind of in order, but the LYS powder, I really, really like this. I think it's beautiful. I also really like the fact that it's effective in the same way that the Kosas is, but it has this kind of like coverage without brightening effect that just brings it down. Like there's almost no presence to it on the skin. It's light as air, but it's very, very functional, but it's not super suck you dry. And I think that's really cool. I think that LYS uniquely manages to walk this line of making products that are not super dewy and not super drying. I can just tell that there's a lot of thought that goes into their formulas. I really wish that they would do one lighter shade because even more people would love this, but as it is, it's an utterly beautiful powder. So that's it. That's it for today's kind of under the buzzer video before we do the Sephora sale video. That will be the next one. If you enjoyed this, y'all, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here or you just haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe while you're here. We would love to have you. Put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.